Hey there, happy artists, and welcome back to Kyle Heath Art. Today we're going to talk all about the color wheel. The color wheel is something really important to know about because once you understand it, you have access to every single color in the world. You can mix saturated colors, you can mix neutral colors, dark colors, light colors. Suddenly all the colors are at your disposal as an artist. So I'm going to walk you through everything step by step that you need to know about the color wheel. And in terms of materials, I'm using oil paints here, but it doesn't really matter what material you use. This works equally well with acrylic, with gouache, whatever. It's the same principle. And if you're curious about the specific materials that I'm using, you can see them down in the description. So starting off, you'll see we have a triangle of 3 colors, red, blue, and yellow. And these are what's known as the primary colors. And they're called primary colors because out of these colors, you can mix every other color. And if you mix the primaries together, you get what's known as secondary colors. And I'll show that to you now. Alright, so now you see we have our secondary colors, orange, purple, and green. And you make a secondary color by mixing together equal amounts of 2 different primary colors. So if you want orange, you mix an equal amount of red and yellow. And by amount, I don't mean equal amount of paint, but I mean an equal redness and an equal yellowness produces orange. Now you can keep going with this. If you mix together an orange and a red, you're going to get an orangish red, and so on and so forth all around the circle. So I'll show that to you now. So you'll see that by mixing together intermediate steps in between the primary and secondary colors, we now have a whole rainbow of different hues. But looking around this full spectrum of colors, you might see that not every color is represented by this circle. You don't see the color pink on here, you don't see brown or black, and that's because every color has 3 different qualities to it. Color has a hue, which is the specific color on the rainbow that it correlates to, like red for example. Then colors have a saturation, or a vividness or dullness to them, and colors have a value, a lightness or darkness. If you take these hues here on the outside of the circle and start playing around with the saturation of these colors or with the value, then you can get every single color imaginable. So let's talk about a color's saturation, or its brightness or dullness. Right out of a tube, usually your color is going to be super duper saturated, about as vivid and colorful as it's possible to get through paint. But a lot of times as a painter, there are other colors that we want to access that are way less vivid than that, especially if you're trying to recreate reality. So oftentimes we want to neutralize a color's vividness and make it more dull. And the way that we neutralize a color is with the complementary colors. A complementary color is a color that is directly opposite from another color on the color wheel. Mix those complementary colors together and you start neutralizing a color and moving it more towards a brownish grayish tone. So let's use red and green as an example of that. So you'll see that by mixing green into red, we've started to turn this red into a neutral brown color. And the more green that we add, the more brown it becomes. You'll see right here, I just put in a little bit of green, and the color looks a little less vivid, but it still looks like some kind of a red. That's how you neutralize colors and get browns and grayish tones. And then there's another color that I mentioned that we don't have on the color wheel yet, and that's pink. And you get the color pink by messing around with a third attribute of color, which is its value, or its lightness or darkness. Pink is a high value red, which means it's a red that's been lightened. So you'll see that by changing the value of red, by making it lighter in color, we've created an entirely new color, the color pink. When you mix white into another color, it's called creating a tint. And by lightening neutral colors, you start getting access to every single color imaginable. You can lighten this brown, for instance, and make a light brown. And finally, I'll show you how to make the color black. Black appears when you mix together the 3 primary colors in equal parts. And there you have it. Those are the basics of the color wheel. If you like this and you want to dive in with more detail, I've recorded an hour-long masterclass all about the color wheel on my Patreon, and you can find the link for that down in the description. In the video, I mixed together the whole color wheel in real time, and I have a color matching demonstration at the end where I teach you how to match colors. And of course, I've got lots of free YouTube videos about color mixing as well. I think you'll love these 2 that I have on the right side of the screen. Thanks so much for watching. Happy art making, everyone.